And in Luke 5, you see the very normal human response to coming into the presence of perfection. Like people who come into the presence of God, it tends to be a very unpleasant experience. Because although Jesus is greater than we could imagine, we are worse than we think. Like when we come into His presence, it's like we're attracted, but we're repelled at the same time. You know, it's like we're fascinated and we want to draw close, but we're frightened at that very moment. Like it's what some scholars refer to as the sense of numinous awe. When you come into the presence of holiness, it's like these two emotions that are battling with each other. And they say it's like a traumatic experience, a sense of being ripped apart. Like on the one hand, you want to be near what's holy. You're drawn to it. You're attracted to it. You want more of it. And at the very same time, it scares you to death. Don't get too close to the fire. This is kind of the same response, to a much lesser degree, that we have in human relationships, right? Like if you play guitar, maybe you love playing the guitar, and you go to a concert of your favorite band, and after the concert, you get to meet like the guitarist. Like the guy who invented everything about the guitar. The guys whose licks on a guitar have changed the way people play the electric or the acoustic guitar in the kind of genre of music you like. Like you are drawn to them, but you're kind of embarrassed by them. Like if they hand you a guitar and they say, play me something, like you're going to want to run out of the room, right? Like on the one hand, you greatly admire this person. You would love to hang out with them. You would love to be them, but on the other hand, you're kind of embarrassed and you want to hide from them. You're attracted and repelled. You're fascinated and you're frightened. It's kind of like this. It's like, gentlemen, on your wedding day, when you're standing up there with your best man and the music begins to play and people stand and you turn and you look and you see her for the very first time. Like you see her dressed in white and she's radiant and she's beautiful and you guys, you are thrilled that she's going to be yours, and you're terrified that she's going to be yours at the very same time. Now multiply that by about 1 billion. And that's how Peter is feeling right now. Like as he is brought into the presence of Almighty God. I mean, if we react that way to mere mortals, no wonder getting close to God could be so traumatic. And no wonder he says, Lord, go away from me, Lord. Like I shouldn't be near you. Like you don't want what I have. I will infect you. See, that's the problem with human nature. We can't live with God and we can't live without Him. I mean, Jesus is greater than you could ever imagine, but we are worse than we could think. And when we're brought into the presence of absolute perfection, absolute holiness, absolute love, we have to be honest with how silly, petty, selfish, arrogant, self-serving we are. At that moment, we don't feel better about ourselves. We feel worse about ourselves. And we have to do something with that feeling. And so when you're aware of your sin, does that drive you to God? Or does that drive you away from God? Like, do you want to run to Him or do you want to run away from Him? It's like you're at home and you're a kid and you're playing downstairs and you break the lamp. Do you hide all the broken pieces, hoping that your dad will forget that there was a lamp there? Or do you take the pieces and you bring them to your Father and you say, can you fix this? Like, what do you do with your sin? Do you flee from God or do you flee to God?